Impact Wrestling draws big numbers with that Kenny Omega appearance. So according to Showbuzz Daily, Kenny Omega's appearance on Impact Wrestling did huge numbers for the show. The crossover finished 96th for the night. It drew a .08 in the key 18 to 49 demo. To put this in perspective, Impact Wrestling on AXS rarely ever finishes in the top 150 shows of the night on cable. So this is a huge win for AEW as well as Impact Wrestling. Last week's Impact Wrestling show had 166,000 viewers with a .05 rating. It almost topped its September 27, 2018 show on Pop TV. I think they moved from Pop, but now they're on AXS, or AXS changed their name to Pop, who knows, which had 222,000 viewers. Also, the crossover episode helped the company secure its best ever viewership on its Twitch stream. 50,000 concurrent viewers compared to the usual 250 to 350. 2,500, I should say, to 3,500 concurrent viewers on a Tuesday night. So it looks like Tony Khan's paid ad really paid off. Some news on when AEW will have their next major Dynamite show, and hold on for a second, it's not going to be that very long. So we had this whole big thing. We had Kenny Omega beating Jon Moxley and Sting showing up and Shaq. So we figured maybe next year we'll have another big Dynamite episode, but no. According to Dave Meltzer, he noted in a recent edition of the Wrestling Observer radio program that these angles, with everything going on, will likely come full circle during the December 30th episode of Dynamite, which is described as to be a really big show. This is interesting. Since AEW announced a total of 10 segments, which include 6 matches for this past week, Meltzer noted that the number of people wondering if it makes sense to announce both Sting and Shaq on the same show, especially a week after the Winter is Coming episode. Meltzer said the reasoning is that, quote, if they can get him, Shaq, that's the week the segment is on, and they already announced Tony Schiavone's interview with Sting last week. So look for December 30th to have another really big AEW show to close out the year. Ever since its inception of AEW back in January 1st, 2019, the professional wrestling world had hoped and even wondered which promotion, if any, All Elite Wrestling will have a working relationship. They've talked about New Japan, of course, Impact Wrestling, now that you had Kenny Omega showing up. But there's been not really many details about going on with AEW and Impact Wrestling so far. However, the Young Bucks have been mentioning for 2 years that they are interested in working with Impact Wrestling and have even teased that big surprises are on the horizon. Further details were provided on the partnership that reveals Kenny Omega's appearance on Impact was just to be a one-off and done primarily as a favor to Don Callis. If that's true or not, we're not sure. However, AEW's Tony Khan liked the idea of the appearance with Callis and Omega appearing on Impact and ultimately signed off on it. So aside from Kenny Omega making an appearance on AEW, as well as Impact Wrestling World Champion Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, will be likely to be making an appearance in AEW as well down the road. Now, no word yet on who the Good Brothers would be facing in AEW, but Omega's appearance in Impact Wrestling will likely be used as a setup to their match in the company. This has been talked about before, and then even the Good Brothers wanted to be part of AEW and wish they actually joined AEW, and they didn't, and they took the money, and then we know the rest is history. And we know that they have a good relationship with the Young Bucks. So could we see a December 30th Young Bucks versus Good Brothers on AEW television? We'll have to tune in and find out. So this one you don't see very often. AEW segments was, quote, one of the best performances of 2020 according to the New York Times. That's right. We all know the Le Dinner Debonair featuring the demo god Chris Jericho and MJF. Well, it made the New York Times best performance list of 2020. This is not just from any guy. This was put over and praised by Pulitzer Prize-winning critic Wesley Morris. Morris praised MJF for his in-ring talents as well, and he even took a shot at Vince McMahon in the WWE. Morris said that MJF and Jericho's version of Me and My Shadow was less than spectacular, but not for anything MJF did. Morris would then note that MJF was smooth in a way that should worry Ric Flair and MJF makes you want to say, woo! Basically what he said. Puts it over big. It was reported in the past, of course, that MJF was the one who came up with the idea of the musical performance after watching Rocket Man, which was the movie based on Elton John that was released in 2019. So even the New York Times, how did they even get the New York Times to even look at something pro wrestling related? Everybody here at Pro Wrestling News Hub would like to congratulate Renee Paquette and Jon Moxley on their child coming. And for those wondering, they revealed that it will be it's a girl. Renee posted a cake on Instagram, which had the color inside. The color was pink. So there you have it. Jon Moxley and Renee will be having a baby girl, so congratulations to them. In an interview with People magazine, Renee noted that her maternal instinct was telling her that she was having a girl and that her and Moxley were pitching around some classic/timeless names. We'll find out. I assume maybe Mox is going to take a little time off, especially with his wife pregnant and the whole things going on in the country. We might not see him for a little while, at least maybe to the end of the year. Maybe he comes back in the spring. Congratulations to both of them. Moxley, well-deserved wrestler of the year. Deserves to get a little break. Starting his family, congratulations. Now, I assume we'll see him in 2021.